Yes friends, welcome to Galaxy Online Learning. I am Desai and now we are going to study the chapter from your first unit 1.5, okay, the necklace. Okay, first I am going to read the chapter for you paragraph by paragraph and then I will explain you. Okay, so let's start the necklace. Chapter is in two parts. So first I am going to do the first part, is part 1. Mathilde was a pretty charming girl, born as if by an error of fate into a family of clerks. She had no means of becoming known, understood, loved or be wedded to an aristocrat. And so she let herself be married to a minor official at the Ministry of Education. Okay. Now Mathilde was a beautiful little girl, beautiful, pretty, charming girl, who by mistake, it is said, the writer says that by mistake she had born a family, a middle class family, a family of clerks. Okay, her father was working as a clerk. Okay, so it was a middle class family. So as a reason, she belonged to a not so rich family. She had very few reasons to be known. Less people knew her. She was really pretty, very, very beautiful. But very few people knew her. Very few people loved her, or there was hardly any chance of her to getting married to an aristocrat family. Aristocrat means an upper class family, because she didn't belong to an upper class family. She belonged to a family of clerks, that is a middle class family. So, after all, she had to marry a minor official in the Ministry of Education. So, though she was pretty, she could not get married to a high class family, to a person in a high class family. So she married a young man who was a minor official, small time official in the Ministry of Education. And since she dressed plainly because she had never been able to afford anything better. She suffered endlessly, feeling she was entitled to all the luxuries of life. She suffered because of her shabby, poorly furnished house. All these things that another woman of her class would not even have noticed, tormented her and made her resentful. She dreamt of a grand palatial mansion with vast rooms and inviting smaller rooms, perfumed for afternoon chats with close friends. See, now Mathilde, she always wore plain dresses because she could not afford rich dresses, okay? So she could not afford anything better than the plain clothes. She suffered endlessly, feeling she was entitled to. She always felt that she being beautiful, she is entitled to all the luxuries of life. She is always saying, I am so beautiful, so I should get all the luxuries of life. Okay, so she always was resentful of the way she was living. The other woman of her level, of her class, never thought about anything much about their house. Okay, but she always felt that her house was shabby. It was not well furnished. She always dreamt of big mansions, big palatial villas. Okay, where she can call her friends, invite friends for chat, where the rooms are perfumed. But she always felt of living and dreamt of living a luxurious life. And she always felt that since she is beautiful, she is entitled to all the luxuries in life. Okay. Yet she had no rich dresses, no jewels, nothing. And these were the only things she loved. She wanted so much to charm, to be envied, to be sought after. Okay. Now, this Mathilde, she always loved rich dresses. She loved jewelry. She loved jewels. She loved ornaments. Okay, and but she had nothing of it. Okay, so she always was resentful, and she always felt that because of her beauty, she should charm people. People should be envy of her. But, sorry, she could not afford all those riches. She had a rich friend, a former schoolmate at the convent, whom she avoided visiting, because afterwards she would weep with regret, despair, and misery. Okay, but this Matilde, she had a friend, a former schoolmate who was rich. That lady was a rich lady, she was a former schoolmate, but she avoiding visiting her. Why? Because after visiting, when she came back home, after visiting this rich schoolmate, she would always feel resentful, she would feel bitterness, she would feel regret why she married in with such a minor official. Okay, so she always felt discomfort. Misery was discomfort. She always felt discomfort after coming back, visiting her friend. So she avoided visiting her. One evening, her husband came home with an air of triumph, holding a large envelope in his hand. "Look," he said, "here's something for you." One fine evening, her husband came from office and he was triumph, his victory, like he has achieved something. He came, he had an envelope in his hand, and as if he has been successful in something, he came and told his wife Matilde that, he said, "Look, what I have got for you." Matilde, what she did? She tore open the paper and drew out a card on which was printed the words, the Minister of Education and Ma'am Georges Rompono request the pleasure of Mr. and Mrs. Lawl's company at the Ministry on the evening of Monday, January 18. So, what was that in that envelope? There was an invitation card, and which the Minister of Education had invited Mr. and Mrs. Matilde Royal, okay, to they had invited her on an evening, okay, Monday evening they had invited her, okay. So that's why her husband was happy that the minister had invited. But see what Matilde says. Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation on the table resentfully and muttered, "Why do you want me to do with that? What do you want me to do with that? And what do you expect me to wear if I go?" Now, instead of being happy for the invitation, Matilde, she throws away the envelope and says, "What can I do with that? I don't have good clothes to go for the evening party. Then how can I go? Then what's the use of it?" He hadn't thought of that. He stammered, "The dress you got to go to the theatre in, it seems very nice to me." But husband says, stammeringly, jijak say, matlab, whether to say or not. He is saying, "But the dress you wear for the theatre, I like it. It's so beautiful, it's nice, I like it." But he stopped, stunned, distressed to see his wife crying. He stuttered, "What's the matter? Let's see, Matilde, how much would a suitable dress cost?" But what he sees is that instead of being happy, now his wife has started crying. So he stops and says, "Something is wrong now. I have to do something now here." Okay? So he says that, "Don't worry." He tells his wife, "Don't worry, Matilde." He tells Matilde, his wife, "Don't worry. Tell me how much a suitable dress you think you should wear for the evening should cost." She thought for a moment, computing the cost and also wondering what amount she could ask for without an immediate refusal. At last she answered hesitantly, "I don't know exactly, but I think I could do it with 400 francs. Okay. So This woman, Matilde, when her husband asked her how much money she needs to buy a suitable dress for the evening, she starts calculating. Okay, she stops before uttering something, any word, any amount. She starts calculating, and at last she comes to a figure, and then she tells, okay, I don't know much, but I think 400 francs would be enough to buy a suitable dress for the evening. He turned a little pale because he had been saving that exact amount to buy a gun for a hunting summer in the country near Nantes with a few francs. However, he said, very well, I can give you 400 francs, but try and get a really beautiful dress. Okay. When Matilde tells her husband that she needs 400 francs for suitable dress, he turns pale. Means the color of his face turns pale, becomes a little light, because the same amount, 400 francs, he had saved to buy a gun, because he was thinking of going for hunting in the summer along with his friends, and for that he had saved some money, and that was 400 francs. However, since he loves his wife, he tells her, Matilde, don't worry, I'll give you 400 francs, but you should buy, but you see that you buy a really beautiful dress with those 400 francs. The day of the party drew near, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, restless, anxious, though a dress was ready. So, what she does, Matilde, she buys a dress. But even after buying the dress, as the day comes near, she becomes a bit sad, becomes restless. So, one evening, her husband said to her, what's the matter? You have been acting strange these last 3 days. She replied, I am upset that I have no jewels, not a single stone to wear. I would rather not go to the party. You could wear flowers, she said. They are very fashionable at this time of year. But she was not convinced. So, what her husband sees is that his wife, Matilde, is a bit sad these days, even after buying the beautiful dress. So, he asked his wife, what's the matter? Why you are so sad? Okay? You are behaving in a very strange way these days. Then she said, I am upset. For what? For that she doesn't have any jewelry. Not a single stone she has. So what is she going to wear on the dress? How is she going to the party? With so many beautiful ladies from high-class families coming to the party, wearing so many jewelry and stones. I don't have a single stone. On that, husband says, you can wear flowers. Because this is the time. This season which is very fashionable. Wearing flowers is also fashionable. So why don't you wear flowers? But Matilde was not convinced. The next day, she went to a friend's house and told her of distress. Madame Forestier went to a mirror wardrobe, took out a large box, brought it back, opened it, and said to Madame Loisel, choose, my dear. First, Matilde saw some bracelets, then a pearl necklace. She tried on the jewelry in the mirror. She kept asking, you have nothing else? Yes, but I don't know what you like. Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a superb diamond necklace, and her heart began to beat with uncontrolled desire. Her hands trembled as she took it. She fastened it around her neck and stood lost in ecstasy, as she looked at herself. Then she asked, anxiously hesitating, would you lend me this? Just this? Why, yes, of course. She threw her arms around her friend's neck rapturously, then fled with the treasure. So next day, what she does, she goes to a friend's place. The rich friend, a former schoolmate. She goes to her place. There, her schoolmate, that is Ma'am Forestier. She takes her to the mirrored wardrobe, and from that mirrored wardrobe she removes a large box of jewelry and keeps it in front of Matilde. Okay, and she tells her to choose the jewelry, any jewelry from that box. So Matilde, what she does, she starts choosing the bracelets, then the necklaces, pearl necklaces, different pearl necklaces. She starts wearing them, seeing in the mirror. Huh? She was trying different types of jewelry in the mirror, and always she used to ask, "Don't you have anything else? Don't you have anything else?" Means she wanted something better than what she was wearing. Okay, but Madam Forster, she says that yes, I do have, but I don't know what you like. Okay, and suddenly Matilde, her eyes fell on a small satin box. She opens the box, and what she sees inside is a superb diamond necklace. And when she sees that superb diamond necklace, her heart begins to beat with uncontrollable desire. Okay, she is very much happy seeing that necklace. What she does? She takes the necklace in her hands. Okay, her hands try to tremble because that necklace was really beautiful, and she fastened it around her neck and she stood lost in front of the mirror in ecstasy. In ecstasy means a very strong feeling of happiness. Okay, when she wears it, she is in a state of ecstasy, in a very strong feeling of happiness. Okay, then she anxiously asked Ma'am Forestier, whether would she lend her that necklace. Just this, I don't want anything else, she says. I don't want anything else. I just want this necklace. I don't want your bracelets. I don't want anything else. Just this necklace. Because she likes this necklace very much. On that, Madame Forster says, "Why not? Yes, of course, you can. I lend you this. You can wear this for the evening." So she's so happy now, Matilde, that she throws her arm around the neck of Madame Forestier. And with great joy and taking away the necklace, she comes home. The day of the party arrived. Ma'am Loisel was a success. She was prettier than all the other women, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. She danced wildly with passion, forgetting everything in the triumph of her beauty and success, floating in a cloud of happiness. Matilde and her husband left at about 4 o'clock in the morning. When they were finally in the street, they could not find a cab. They walked down towards the CNA till they found one. They were dropped off at the door in the Rue des Martyrs, and sadly it was all over for her. In front of the mirror, she took a final look at herself in all her glory. But suddenly she uttered a cry. She no longer had the necklace around her neck. "What is the matter?" asked her husband. She turned towards him, panic-stricken. I no longer have Madame Forestier's necklace." He stood up in distraught and said, "What? How? That's impossible." Okay. So now, pretty little young lady, Madame Loisel or Matilde, she takes the necklace from her friend Madame Forster to her place, to her home, and then on the day of the party, she wears this necklace and goes to the party. And since she is a pretty little lady, pretty young lady, she is a success in the party. Everyone wants to dance with her. Okay, she was prettier than any other woman in the party. Okay, she was very stylish. She walked in the party in a very elegant way, in a very stylish way, graciously, smiling and full of joy. She enjoyed the party. First time in her life she could have been to such a party. So she was enjoying the whole of it. Okay, she danced widely, she danced with passion. Okay, she forgot everything of the world and she was just enjoying the party. Okay, and everything in the time of beauty and success. She was in a cloud of happiness. She was feeling, oh, so beautiful. Everyone is envying me. I have charmed each and every person in this room. Okay, so she was very, very happy, very she was in the cloud of happiness. Okay, so both of them, they enjoyed the party, and it took 4 o'clock next morning, 4 a.m. in the next morning for them to get out from the party. So they were dancing, they were enjoying the whole night in that party. So when they came out of the party hall, there was no cab over there. So they had to walk. After they walked for a certain distance, they got a cab. They hired the cab and then they reached their place, their home. Okay, but when they reached their home, everything was over. Why? Because when she reached the home, she was so happy that she wanted to stand in front of the mirror and wanted to look at herself. But what happened when she looked into the mirror? What she saw? She saw that the necklace was not there around her neck. Okay, so what happened? She uttered a cry. Immediately, her husband shouted, "Oh, what's happened? Okay, what's the matter?" Then she turns toward him and she was panic stricken. She was very fear and she tells her husband that the necklace is no more around her neck. She has lost it. The husband shouts, because coming from a middle class family, how can they afford such a necklace? He said, how? How could this happen? How was it? It's impossible. How could that necklace go? Okay, because he was shocked totally. Okay. And now we'll go to the next part of this chapter and what happens after that, how the life changes. Okay, and how she realizes what life is materially, that we'll see in the second part. Okay, now in the part 2, let's continue the part 2. They looked in the folds of a dress, in the folds of a cloak, in the pockets, everywhere, but they could not find it. Are you sure you still had it on when you left the hall? Yes, I touched it in the hall at the ministry. But if you had lost it in the street, you would have heard it fall. It must be in the cab. Yes, that's probably it. Did you take this number? No. They stared at each other stunned. At last, Lawrence puts his clothes again. I am going back, he said, over the whole route we walked and see if I can find it. He left. She remained in a ball dress all night, her mind blank. Her husband returned at about 7 o'clock. He had found nothing. Okay. Once she notices that the necklace is not around her neck. They start checking in her creases, in her dress, in her pockets, everywhere they started seeing, but they could not find anyone. Then the husband asked whether it was still there in the party. She said, yes, I had checked it at the ministry, it was still there. Then where it was having gone? Someone has robbed it, or it has been, if it had been fallen down while you were walking, you could have heard a noise of the necklace falling. Or someone has robbed it, or it has been in the cab. So they had so many questions and they knew no answer to it. So husband says, let me go back, I'll walk it down the whole way, okay, the whole route which they came, so that if it has fallen somewhere, he could fetch it. Okay, so husband goes back the whole route and comes down home early in the morning at 7 o'clock, but he had not found the necklace. And here Matilde remained in that same dress all night. She was totally blank. Now she could not think what she could do. Okay. So, next morning, her husband went to the police, to the newspapers to offer a reward to the cab companies. Everywhere, the tiniest glimmer of hope led him. She waited all day in despair at this frightful disaster. Lost returned in the evening, a hollow, pale figure. He had found nothing. You must write to your friend, he said. Tell her you have broken the clasp of a necklace and that you are having it mended. It will give us time to look some more. She wrote as he dictated. At the end of 1 week, they had lost all hope, and Loisel, who suddenly looked aged, declared, we must consider how to replace the jewel. Okay. Now, whole day, Matilde was waiting in despair. Okay. She was waiting. Her husband might fetch her. Husband had been to the police station. He went to the newspapers to give a reward if someone gets sick. Okay, someone fetches it. He goes to all the cab companies. Anywhere he could have a glimmer of hope. He went over there to find, to get back that necklace, because they didn't have that much of money to buy such an elegant, such a beautiful necklace. Okay, so whole day he was looking out for the necklace, but when he returned home, Matilde saw that nothing. Now he tells his wife that there's no other solution now. You have to do and tell your friend that you have broken the clasp. See, the necklace, there's a clasp and where you put it so that you can fix it. Okay, so in that hook which you have to put, that has been broken and we'll have to mend it. So give us some time, I'll mend it and give it to you. And so you write a letter to her. That's what her husband tells her. And Matilde writes a letter as dictated by her husband and sends it to Ma'am Frostier. Now, they are waiting, with hope that they may get the necklace back. But after a week, they are still not getting it back. So now he says, now we have to look out, now we have to think about how we can get back the necklace. We'll have to make for that necklace. Okay, so we have to replace that jewelry. Okay, because we have to really think, because we are not going to get it back. Now we have to give it back to this man first year, so we'll have to replace the jewel. So they went from jeweler to jeweler looking for a necklace like the other one. Consulting their memories, both sick with grief and anguish. So they start searching at the jewelry shops, for whether they are getting such a jeweler, to know how much it's going to cost now. Okay, so whatever they could recollect, the memories, okay, of the necklace, on that memories they started searching for such the same type of necklace in the jewelry shops. Okay, both sick with grief and anguish. Okay, both sick with grief. They were feeling very, very bad. They were very, very, very sad. Both of them were very sad. Okay, in a shop at the Palace Royal, they found a string of diamonds which seemed to be exactly what they were looking for. Okay, at the jewelry shop at Palace Royal, the Royal Palace, there was a jewelry shop, and there they could find a necklace which was the same as which Madame Forestier had given to Madame Lucid Matilde. Okay, it was worth 40,000 francs, and the cost of that necklace was 40,000 francs. How many? 40,000 francs. They could have it for 36,000, but the shopkeeper said, I can give you a discount on that, a 10% discount. So you can have it at 36,000. If you are going to buy now, I'll give you a discount of 4,000. That's 10% discount. So you can buy it for 36,000. So they begged the jeweler not to sell it for 3 days. Okay? And they made an arrangement that he would take it back for 34,000 francs if the other necklace was found before the end of February. Okay? What they tell the jeweler is that, okay, you wait for 3 days, we are arranging for the money, okay, but you also make a deal with us that suppose if we get our old necklace back by February, you will take this necklace and give us 34,000 francs back. See, Mathilde's husband had 18,000 francs which his father had left him. He would borrow the rest. So he thought, Mathilde's husband, he had 18,000 francs which his father had given him. So he said those 18,000 plus some 18,000 more he could borrow now, 18,000 francs. And he did borrow. He gave notes, made ruinous agreements, dealt with every type of moneylender. Then he went to get the new necklace and laid down on the jeweller's counter 36,000 francs. Okay, so what he did, her husband went, he borrowed 18,000 francs. He gave them promissory notes that okay, I promise to pay you back this amount of so many days and all these things. He met different types of moneylenders. Somehow he had to do a lot to arrange for those 18,000 francs. Somehow he arranged those 18,000 francs. Plus those 18,000 francs he had with him, which his father had given him. Okay, so this 36,000 francs he gave it to the jeweler and he took those necklaces from him. When Madame Loisel took the necklace back, Madame Firstier said coldly, "You should have returned it sooner. I might have needed it." Okay, so when Mathilde takes the necklace back to her friend says, "You took a long time to return it back." So coldly says, she has nothing, very coldly, means she is not happy. Okay, why? Because she has taken such a long time to return it back. She had taken it for 1 day, but she said, I could have worn it, I would have needed it in between. So why didn't you give it back? You should have given it back to me on time. From then on, Madame Loisel knew the horrible life of the very poor. But she played her part heroically. The dreadful debt must be paid. She would pay it. They dismissed the maid. They changed their lodgings. They rented a garret under the roof. Okay. So now what they did? Now they had to make for the 18,000 francs which they had borrowed. Okay, they wanted to give it back because they had borrowed it from the moneylenders. So now their life changed. Now what they did, what Mathilde did was that she to pay that debt back, she dismissed her maid. Now no more maid in the house. She will do all the work, household work on her own. They changed the lodgings. They changed the house where they were living. They went to live in a garret. Garret is a small uncomfortable roof. Garret is on the top. Okay, like what you call attic like thing. Okay, which is a very uncomfortable place. Okay. So they started staying in that place because they could not now afford a house. Okay. So they rented a garret under the roof. Now she came to know the drudgery of now she understood how the poor people live, what life is. She came to know the drudgery of housework, the odious labours of the kitchen. She washed the dishes, the dirty linen. She carried the garbage down to the street every morning and carried up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breath and dressed like a commoner. She had a bargain at markets, quarrel and faced insult over every miserable soul. Okay, so now she had to do all the housework, cleaning the house, washing the utensils, preparing the food. Okay, then taking the garbage to the mm, uh, taking the garbage every day, every morning. Okay, at the roadside where the garbage is, there's a dustbin, there's a garbage bin where she has to put it. That all work she had to do now. Even she had to fetch water from down. Okay, and she had to go. She was staying in a garage, that is on the first floor. Okay, at the roof. So she had to carry the bucket full of water because they had no tap over there. And she had to always stop at each landing to carry that vessel. So she had now a hell of a life. Okay, her life had changed. Each month they had to pay some loans, renew others and get more time. So every month now, this way they were saving money so that they could pay some loans and renew some others. Okay. Her husband worked extra every evening doing account for tradesmen and often late into the night. He said copying a manuscript at 5 scrolls a page. Okay. Then her husband also started working very hard after his office work. He started working part-time, writing account for a businessman. Then at night he used to write manuscripts and written manuscripts for a few sows a page. For one page used to get, that's a currency. Okay, just like we have paisas. So they have sows. Okay, that's a currency. Even Matilda had to bargain. While she go for shopping, while she go for buying vegetables, she had to bargain everywhere. For each saw, for each paisa, okay, for each rupee, she had to bargain just because they wanted to save the money to pay back the debt. And this life lasted 10 years. Okay, at the end of 10 years, they had paid off everything, even the interest. So it took them 10 years, 10 long years to pay off the debt of 18,000 francs. Okay? And they paid it all along with the interest, they paid it back to all the money lenders. Madame Loisel looked old now. Now, this poor Mathilde, now, once time, a very pretty young lady, after 10 years, was looking after this hardship. All this hardship, she was now looking very looking old. Often she brooded over the past. What would have happened if she had not lost the necklace? She always brooded, she always cried, this is my mistake. If I had not lost the necklace, then all these things would have not happened. How strange life is, how fickle. How little is needed for one to be ruined or saved. So she was thinking, it's just one necklace, and this one necklace ruined my whole life. Okay. So one Sunday, as she was walking in the Thames Isle, suddenly saw Madame Forestier, still young, still beautiful, still charming. So one day, while she was walking, on the road, she finds Madame Forestier. She was still looking very charming, very beautiful and very young. Mathilde felt emotional. Should she speak to her? Yes, of course. And now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Why not? So, Mathilde is a bit confused because now she is looking very old. She is now poor. And Madame Forestier is still very young, beautiful. So she is a bit confused, hesitant to talk to her. But she says, now that I have given her necklace back and that I have paid all the money to the moneylenders, now I don't have to worry. Okay. So she said, why not? I'll speak to her. And she greets her. She went up to her. Good morning, Jane. The other, astonished to be addressed so familiarly by this common woman, did not recognize her. She stammered, but ma'am, I don't know. You must have made a mistake. See, when Mathilde goes and greets Madame Forestier by her first name, good morning, Jane, Madame Forestier, she doesn't recognize her because she's surprised to see an ordinary woman. because she belongs to a high class ordinary woman, calling her by her first name. Okay, and in such a familiar way. So she says that, ma'am, you must be mistaken. I don't recognize you. No, I am Mathilde Lawson. Her friend uttered, oh, my poor Mathilde, how you have changed. Yes, I have had some hard times since I last saw you, and many miseries, and all because of you. Me? How can that be? You remember the diamond necklace that you lent me to wear to the ministry party? Yes, well, I lost it. What do you mean? You brought it back? I brought you back another exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years to pay for it. It wasn't easy for us. We had very little, but at last it is over, and I am very glad. Madam First Year was stunned. You say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine? Yes, you didn't notice that? They were very similar. And she smiled with proud and innocent pleasure. Madam First Year deeply moved to both hands. Oh, my poor Mathilde. Mine was an imitation. It was worth 500 francs at most. Okay, so when Mathilde greets Madam First Year, she says she hasn't recognized her. Okay, then Mathilde introduces her to that I am Mathilde Loisel. On this, Madam First Year cries, oh, my poor Mathilde, you have changed so much. I didn't recognize you, so sorry for that. She said, yes, I have changed a lot because I went to really very bad times after the last time I met you. Okay. She said, why? What was the reason? Why was so? She said, and all this happened because of you. She said, because of me? How come? She tells her the story that how she had lost the necklace which she had lended from her, and then how she had replaced the necklace, and to replace the necklace she didn't have anything, so to get the same necklace, similar necklace, which was an exact replica of a necklace, they had to spend so much of money, so they had to do a lot of hardship. So when First Year listens to all this thing, story, she says, oh, means you bought a real diamond necklace? Mathilde, mine was an imitation, not a real one. She says, you didn't realize it? No, because it is just the same. Mathilde tells her, it is just the same, you won't realize it. Yes, mine was an imitation, and you bought a real necklace for that. And my necklace was costing just a few hundred francs, and you spent a lifetime 36,000 francs for that necklace. Okay, and with this we end this chapter. Okay, so what do you get to know from this chapter? Okay, that see, for a simple jewelry, this Mathilde was so egoistic, was so proud of her beauty that she always wanted to live a lavish life. And when she's invited for a party, she lends a necklace from a friend who is a rich person. But the necklace she was not knowing that it is an imitation jewelry. She thought that is a real one. And when she lost it, she spent 10 years working very hard, she and her husband, working very hard to pay the debts which they had incurred because of buying a necklace as costly, costing them 36,000 francs. Okay, so this what you call is that for one necklace, for just one necklace, she had for one false to pretend that you are a rich person, okay, just to pretend that you are something of a high class, she ruined her life. Okay, that's what we understand from this chapter. I hope all of you have understood this chapter. If you have any difficulties, if you haven't understood any word, the meaning of any word, please get back to me. Okay, once again, I remind you that subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon so that you get notifications. And one more thing, and the most important thing, get registered with Galaxy Tutorials. Once you get registered with Galaxy Tutorials, you will get the study pack, and with this study pack, you will be able to study at home all your questions, textual questions, appreciation of poems, everything that I'll be teaching you later. Okay, and all of the workshop, all of the grammar, everything will be taken care of, and it has been also given in a study pack. So please register yourself and get your study pack so you can study safely at your home. Thank you.